Our next speaker truly encapsulates the idea of what the dream this club has to offer. Chris Arnett has been a Toastmaster for almost 4 years now. He's the owner of Body by Chris, a Sacramento personal training business. As an award-winning speaker and Toastmaster, he's accomplished first place in 2 Division E Area 51 international speaking contests and has spoken for organizations such as Borders Books, the Sacramento Learning Exchange, and has even been on local television here. Chris Arnett is also the host of the PBS special Spirit Quest and hosts his own internet podcast show talking to men around the world on subjects such as leadership and finding your purpose in life. Here to talk about 3 ways Toastmasters can dramatically improve your life. Let's welcome Mr. Chris Arnett.
About 30 years ago, plus a few, I was a strapping young guy, fresh out of high school. I was athletic, strong. I faced the world with a fist until I stepped into my first public speaking class. I recall taking a piece of paper after I got my assignment for the first speech, writing out my speech word for word. And that day came when I got to take those papers up to the lectern. I ran up there, put my papers down. I looked up. I fainted. I passed out. I finally got back up and I played it off and said, I slipped. To this day, I have no idea what I said, but I know when I was holding on to the lectern was moving, my voice was shaking. As you can see, I've come a long ways. I've grown as a public speaker. I joined Toastmasters a few years ago. And as Zach said, I've done a few things in public speaking. But today I'm here to talk to you about 3 ways that Toastmasters will dynamically improve your life. My first way is fear. Fear has been the cancer on humanity's spirit since the beginning of time. Every time we step up to give a speech, we feel fear. Every time we go for a job interview, we feel fear. Fear rides us like a horse in the night. And let me tell you, Toastmasters is one of the best answers to that. I've watched a young lady who came from another country, Portugal. She was in this audience, in fact. We were out one day. We went to a venue, and the announcer asked her to say something on the microphone. He gave her the mic. She forgot to speak English. How to speak English. She reverted to her native tongue of Portuguese. A short time later, I was at a Portuguese festival, and I saw her father deliver a passionate speech. I couldn't understand a word of it. He was shaking his hands, saying that people from Portugal, who are ancestors from Portugal, need to learn the language, and it's being forgotten. Their customs are being forgotten. And he was shaking his hands. And I looked at her and said, you could do that. You could become that. So after some coaching and encouragement, I finally got her to join Toastmasters. Within 6 months, she got her CC. A few weeks after that, she was speaking with me at Borders. So Toastmasters helped her overcome her fear. She was totally afraid to speak in public to becoming a competent communicator. I've seen people grow from this. In my podcast show, I urge young men around the world to join Toastmasters because some of the fellows have trouble just going up asking the girl for a date. But guess what? Toastmaster is public speaking rather, is the #1 fear. People would rather die and hang themselves than do what I'm doing right now and speak in public. Can you believe that? The #1 fear over death. When you learn to conquer that fear, you do what's next, which is build confidence. Toastmasters, I've seen it build confidence in young men around the world, in myself, in my friends. People who learn to speak radiate with the power within themselves. They have poise when they go into a job interview. They have presence. I urge everyone to join Toastmasters in all of my shows, because I've seen people start from their first speech, nervous and shaking as I was, and grow and grow and grow with confidence. I've seen so much growth occur just from one simple organization that's all over the world. All over the world, my friends. When you learn to speak in public, when you learn to conquer that number one fear, your confidence level goes up. So you have fear over here, and you have confidence here. As you push through your speeches, it goes down here. Confidence is something we need in today's society. Which brings me to my final point, which is leadership skills. Toastmasters develops leadership skills. We have a program called the Leadership Program. We teach you how to become leaders. When you take someone who has never spoken in public, get them to stand up here and just tell a joke for a moment and have them sit down. Then you get them to tell an inspirational moment. They build on that. Then you get them to do an evaluation. It builds on one skill after another after another. Eventually, they're running the meeting. Meeting, organization, and planning is the number one skill in business today, as well as leadership. That's one of the things that this country is missing is good leaders. Toastmasters produces that in all of us. When you develop that leadership skill, you'll see yourself grow as a man and as a woman, as a person, with strength, with power. This country, we're entering some turbulent times. We have banks closing up. We have stores I've known all my life. Mervyn's, where's Mervyn's? Mervyn's is gone. We're in a time period where we need effective leaders, like the ones produced in Toastmasters. So today I've talked to you about 3 ways that Toastmasters can improve your life. You've learned that it decreases fear. Once you do enough speeches, you're no longer afraid. It goes down. It builds your confidence. Each speech, you build your confidence. It also develops leadership skills. So there's no reason for none of us, or anyone, not to join Toastmasters. When I was starting my first business, I was afraid. I was afraid to get out there because I was afraid I would fail. I was afraid that my mother would be right. I should stay at Pacific Bell for the rest of my life. But I did it anyway, and I pushed forward. And I'm still in business today, 25 years later. I conquered my fear. Toastmasters helped me because I've been in here twice. I joined Toastmasters about 15 years ago, when I really needed it. As I was pushing my business forward to further success, I started giving speeches on fitness, and my business grew. But some people are afraid to start a business. And some people are afraid to push forward. When you learn to conquer that fear of public speaking, you learn to push. You learn to let nothing stop you. Some people are like a fool who sits in the middle of a meadow wanting milk, waiting for a cow to back up and drop some in the cup. No, Toastmasters, we become people who go out there and do it, as our club does. So if you haven't joined, I urge you to join today, now. Mr. Toastmaster.
Come on. Hot, sicker than your average. Pop a twist cabbage on instinct. Niggas don't think shit stink. Pink Gators, my Detroit players. Tim's for my hooligans in Brooklyn. That's dead right. If the head right, Biggie there, every night. Papa been smooth since days of under rules. Never lose, never choose.